Welcome to the regular council meeting dated Tuesday, August 15th, 2023 at 4:40 p.m. in council chambers and via Zoom. We acknowledge that the town of Kirkland Lake is located on the traditional territory of Algonquin peoples, including Beaver House First Nation and unceded territory of other Indigenous peoples. We recognize the presence of Algonquin, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, and Métis people in our community since time immemorial and honor their stewardship to these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility to reconciliation. I have a call to order and a moment of silence. Thank you. Item number 2, approval of the agenda.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023 be approved as amended to include addendum item 12.1 proclamation International Overdose Awareness Day, August 31st, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interest in open. None noted. Item number 4, 4.1, Jessica Lafreniere, Kirkland and District Community Development Corporation Tourism website.
Just, online here. That's
Jessica? Oh, sorry. You are. Yeah, you may proceed. Thank you.
I'm okay to go? Oh, thank you. Thank you everyone for having me this evening or this afternoon. My name is Jessica Lafreniere. I'm the Executive Director with Kirkland and District Community Development Corporation. And in 2022, we received funding from FedNor in order to provide a tourism research coordinator to work with our local municipalities to collaborate and create a tourism website inventory database. So the objective of this website was to work with our partners, the Kirkland Lake District Chamber of Commerce, as well as our local municipalities to collaborate and to create a one-stop shop website where people who are touring the area or coming to town for a variety of different events could look for different alternatives for eateries, accommodations, and activities that our area has to offer. So I would like to take this opportunity to show you all the website. I'm going to share my screen. Are you all able to see that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we'll start over here. So we were able to provide to hire, a professional photographer and a professional videographer, as well as a website developer to collaborate and to make this website. So when you first come to the website, so kdcdctourism.com, you have this video that showcases all 4 seasons and a variety of activities that you can participate in. Now, the reason why the site was divided by activities was in order to not show different weight or favoritism to different municipalities, because KDCDC services the area of Englehart to Valgagne, to Kearns and Virginia Town, and then to Matachewan as well. So on the home page, you can see that the activities are divided by on water, activities on land, activities on ice, and activities on snow. We also were able to create local favorites. So for example, snowmobiling, hiking, and ice fishing. So if you were really interested in going hiking, you could click here. Sometimes technology wants to take its time. There we go. And it shows a variety of different hiking trails in our area. So in this case, we have Kinross Pond, Clancy's Trails, Esker Park, Cap Kigawan, and then the Matheson Rotary Club Interpretive Trail. So then you can click on each of these and it'll bring you to information that specifically brings you to their site or contact information for like operating hours, etc. So again, at the very top of the website, if you go under Explore, So again, the activities are divided by the 4: land, ice, snow, or water. You can also look at communities and look at arts and cultural and community libraries. We have it by restaurants and eateries. So in this case, restaurants and eateries and accommodations, you can search by different locations. So for example, if we go down to Kirkland Lake, it'll bring you to the different restaurants that we have here. We try to keep it to the mom and pop locations. We had to draw the line somewhere. So franchises aren't necessarily included except for accommodations, because in Kirkland Lake, we do have the Super 8, the Comfort Inn, and the Microtel. In Englehart, for example, they have locally owned accommodations. So, and then if you were to click on their website, it'll bring you directly there, or you can check and they have their phone numbers. It provides you with their address, and it provides all the local information that they need for the area that you are visiting. Accommodations is laid out the exact same way. We also include some campgrounds as well. So then you have, for example, the Kenogami Bridge Inn, the Super 8, the Microtel, Comfort Inn, Blackberry Inn, Muddy Moose. So it's all of the areas that KDCDC offers. Under events, we put in the staple events. So the website will not be updated on a regular basis. It'll most likely be updated on a quarterly to a semi-annual basis because of funding. So the funding that we received from FedNor was a 1-year contract. So that ended as of March 31st, 2023. So the update and maintenance will be on our partnership with the Chamber of Commerce as well as Kirkland District Community Development Corporation. So if you were to go to summer events, for example, the Team Northern Throttle drag races, again, we have everything linking back to the main home pages of these events or these municipalities or these clubs. So you can click on their Facebook page, you can go to their website. We just had the Kenogami Lake Sailing Club Regatta last weekend, so you can check out their Facebook page. There was a water ski show a couple weeks ago, Englehart's Day in the Park. So these are the events that we know that don't necessarily change and that are more stable. So example, Dobie Pig Roast. So these are just for the summer, and you can go through and see fall, winter, spring. Now there's our contact us page as well. And if you go down here to communities, you'll see that we have every community listed as well on our front homepage, sorry. We have all the logos of our local communities. And if you click on their logo or you visit their site, it brings you directly back to the local municipality's site. So everything is referenced back. So the website is very easy to follow. It's very user-friendly. We try to make it clean and simple, use a lot of bright colors, lots of photography, lots of different videos. We learned a lot while we were creating the website. For example, you can go snowshoeing with some alpacas just north of Val Gagne, which is in our area, which is great. We didn't know you could do that. Charlton actually has one of the larger fish hatcheries, and you can take a tour of that. So there's lots of different things that our area has to offer that we can do on a rainy day, such as last weekend, or if you're in the area visiting, or to promote our area too. So we were able to provide a lot of promotional material to the local chambers of commerce. So in New Liskeard, as well as Matheson and here, everyone who participated in the project received like a little sticker that shows that they're participating, and a sign has the website on it. And then we actually traveled to south and we distributed it with Gravenhurst, Huntsville, Bracebridge, and North Bay's Chambers of Commerce's as well, in order to promote the area. So that's basically the website in a nutshell. Like I said, it's very user-friendly. Do any of you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Jessica, for your presentation. I certainly commend you and your team. You did an amazing job. This was not a small endeavor for sure to collect all this information. And I am absolutely positive this will drive, tourism dollars into our area. So thank you and your team for all your hard work. Does any members of council have anything to add? They do not. So I do appreciate your time this evening, and I look forward to using this and promoting this website as well. So thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful evening.
Madam Clerk?
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dyken, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be resolved that the delegation entitled Personal Lake and District Community Development Corporation Tourism website be received for information purposes.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 5.1, council minutes.
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Councillor Janice Granger. Be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the following meeting. Minutes of the regular meeting of council held July 11th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Carried unanimous. Item 5.2, committees of council minutes.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens. Be it resolved that council adopt the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the Kirkland Lake Museum Advisory Committee held May 17th, 2023, and minutes of the Kirkland Lake Committee of Adjustment held January 31st, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 5.3, local and regional boards minutes.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that council received the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the Kirkland Lake District Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors held May 2nd and June 6th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.1, pardon me, corporate strategic plan, Alan Smith, CAO.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to members of council. So late last year, fall, administration provided the previous council with an update and review of the current strategic plan, and also advised that terms of reference for a new strategic planning process will be presented to the newly elected council. So better never than late. So what is strategic planning? Well, strategic planning is an essential tool for municipalities to achieve their goals. It ensures responsive services to the community and ensures the well-being of residents. A strat plan is much more than just a document. The plan is a team-building process and framework aimed at achieving a common vision for council staff group as they come together to become a high-performance team. Municipalities that fail to determine the priorities for the term ahead will face significant operational and strategic challenges. Strategic planning then is the process of defining the goals and objectives of an organization. It's about developing a roadmap to achieve these goals and objectives. Without the strategic plan, municipalities may lack necessary direction and structure. This can lead to ineffective use of resources and missed opportunities. The proposed strategic planning process for Kirkland Lake is described in the attached terms of reference. Yes, a plan will be developed having a vision, goals, and objectives. However, it is important to ensure that the process is an integrated one, a holistic one, as there will be development and implementation of mechanisms to ensure feedback and alignment between the plan and the delivery of services by operational departments. In other words, a framework for departmental business plans will be developed, which will support the strategic plan. The business planning process will also inform or support the budgetary process. Therefore, the budget will support the departmental business plan, which supports the goals of the strategic plan. Strategic performance measures will also be developed, demonstrating when success has been achieved. The plan will take the town through to the end of 2027. $30,000 has been approved in the 2023 operating budget for the retaining of consultancy services. The council approves the terms of reference, an RFP will be issued shortly with the intention of having a completed document by the end of this year, and welcome any questions.
Any questions from council? None noted. Madam Clerk?
Moved by Councillor Janice Granger, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that report number 2023 CAO entitled Corporate Strategic Plan be received, and that council approves the terms of reference for the development of a corporate strategic plan for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake as presented. And finally, the council direct the CAO to initiate a request for proposal to retain a consultancy firm to complete a corporate strategic plan based on the approved terms of reference.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item 6.2, signing authorities and policy update, Sean McCart, Director of Corporate Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through your council. With the recent new hire of our deputy treasurer, our signing authorities required updating. At the same time as updating the signing authorities, we took the time to review the policy and update the policy statement, purpose, scope, definitions, legislative authority, enhanced procedure and summary. I've also included in the new version. And I just want to thank Clerk Montoya. She did most of the resource and figured out the research and added the corresponding language. Precedents from various Ontario municipalities to just put some more information into the policy, which I think updated well. The other change, I think it was put on last time, was we used to just have the treasurer and then deputy treasurer as assigning authorities. We've also added myself in there for ongoing so that we have a third signer that can sign with everyone else. We just went through with the deputy treasurer leaving a time when there's only one person in the office that would be able to sign. So if something happens, so now we have 3 signers. So that was it. I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions from council? None noted, Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kelly, be it resolved that report number 2023-10-009 entitled signing authorities and policy update be received, and that council approve PIN 2023-002 signing authority policy, and finally that PIN 2023-002 signing authority policy be inserted into the corporate policy manual.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Thank you, Sean. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.3, town sponsorship request, KLMHA grant application to the Timiskaming Foundation. Clinton Johansson, Director of Development Services.
The Kirkland Lake Minor Hockey Association has submitted an application to the Timiskaming Foundation for a grant of $3,750 to support registration and development within Kirkland Lake in honor of the late Jean-Paul Lacroix in the spirit of Paul Lacroix Memorial Hockey Fund. Kirkland Lake Minor Hockey Association has requested that the town sponsor their application to ensure it meets the Timiskaming Foundation's eligibility criteria. There are no financial implications as this grant received is immediately offset to donations of the equivalent amount to the association. Administration recommends that the council approve the request from the Kirkland Lake Minor Hockey Association for the town to sponsor their funding application to the Timiskaming Foundation. Any questions?
Any questions from council? Any comments? Nothing noted. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kelly, seconded by Councillor Jackie Ranger, be it resolved that report number 2023 EEB 28 entitled Town Sponsorship Request KLMHA grant application to the Timiskaming Foundation be received, and that council approve the request from the KLMHA for the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake to sponsor an application to the Timiskaming Foundation for a grant in a sum of $3,750 to support registrations and development within Kirkland Lake in the spirit of Paul Lacroix Memorial Hockey Fund. And that council authorizes the mayor and municipal clerk to sign a sponsorship agreement with KLMHA as presented. And that council authorizes the treasurer to receive any funds granted by the Timiskaming Foundation and to forward a donation of the same value to KLMHA. And finally, that an execution by law be brought forward for 3 readings on August 15th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.4, 10-year fleet management replacement plan. Alan Smith, CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, 2 members of council. The report before council this evening contains a 10-year fleet replacement plan for all departments that rely on vehicles as part of their service delivery requirements. The fleet management replacement plan is to be applied as a guide to forecast capital expenditures over the next decade. And I do want to stress that we are currently in the process of completing phase 3 of our asset management plan, which includes vehicles and equipment. This plan should look very similar to the 10-year fleet management replacement plan contained in your report. In the interim, this fleet management plan as presented will be used to identify the town's replacement needs. However, I do want to note, I've just been made aware that fire services will be expecting a aerial ladder truck by mid-September. And as indicated in the fleet management plan, $500,000 was allocated. However, the cost of this truck we're receiving is approximately $175,000 with an additional roughly $60,000 in upgrades and for a total amount of approximately $235,000. So that will be included in the fleet management plan. So again, the fleet management plan is there for council's review.
Any questions from council? Councillor Owen?
Thank you, Your Worship, to Alan. I've been pushing for a fleet management plan for a long time. But in my mind, what presented here falls far short of what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a computerized system when every time a town vehicle or piece of equipment goes in for repairs, it's entered into that system and the costs are recorded so that when department heads, department directors put in their requests for vehicles, council and the department directors have hard data on which to base the justification for the replacement of the equipment. Age is one factor, but it's only one factor. And to me, as far as I can tell, I mean, it's good to think ahead, but this doesn't tell me. There's no hard data involved. So to me, this is a wish list as opposed to a plan. So I'll just leave it there.
Anything from council? Councillor Owen?
I think it goes maybe a bit beyond just for repairs and stuff. I think, and there is software or equipment available to tell us like, okay, so I just, for physical services, I counted 9 pickup trucks. Well, what are these 9 pickup trucks actually doing? Like, what they're, so when, I think as council or future councils, it'd be awesome to see data. Okay, this truck is used so many hours or does
Work.
pardon?
Work.
Yeah, like what is it actually doing so we can have concrete data and not base it, well, okay, it's an old truck, we have something to base our decisions on. So if we could have some type of software track what these vehicles are doing and what they're used for beyond just the repairs, it's what the truck is actually used for. I think it'd be awesome to see. But I know we're at the starting point of this. This is just a rough draft. This is a work in progress. I fully understand that.
Thank you. Councillor Kylie?
Could Councillor Casey's point, could that not be implemented within the asset management plan?
I think Madam Mayor to council. I would have to review that. I don't think that is part of the criteria in the asset management plan. I think it could be a supplement to it. I think that both councillors make valid points regarding what to go another deeper dive into the management of the fleet. And I think that is something we can look into. Again, that will be complementing the asset management plan. I think that's a separate entity, but the idea of having a software system or just more better tracking of servicing and also the activity of those vehicles, I think that we can definitely investigate for council.
Yeah, through your worship, this would be ideal because I think staff have come to council and said they needed a new vehicle or equipment, and we had no idea as to what the total repairs and money that we put into it already. It's nice to know that we're not just throwing bad dollars after good into
into the equipment, so I think this is an important feature that we have to implement somewhere.
Councillor Owen?
Yes, through you, your worship, thank you, Councillor Owens, for bringing that up. My thinking was one plane. I'm just gonna throw this out, but I can't ever remember when I was a reporter or since then, council, or the town doing a review of the vehicles. In other words, are the vehicles we are using really the right vehicles for that job? Do we really need that many vehicles, which falls into what, I believe what Councillor Owens was getting at. I think, especially in terms of our carbon footprint and the price of gasoline, then in some cases, maybe we don't need a full-size pickup truck. Or maybe we don't need a pickup truck at all. We could use an SUV. Down the road, I'm sure we're going to be forced into, well, I shouldn't say I'm sure, but I suspect we will be forced into going to either electric or hybrid vehicles. And I'd like, you know, I think we should start planning ahead for that. So I'm just throwing that out for future date, future discussion.
Anything further from council members? Councillor Dyken?
To Madam Mayor, to CEO Smith, just for clarity, it may have gone too quick. What was the 235,000, that was the aerial truck?
Yes, the,
Was that the one we had allocated 500 and a possible 250 additional, but it came in at 235, is that?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it by the approximately 60,000 for repairs? That'd be the rough estimate right now, but that's what we're excited to have the truck in mid-September.
Don't want to say yay.
Absolutely. For my part, I definitely think this goes a long way for transparency and for future planning. That's definitely one of my requests since being on council, that the idea of being able to forecast for budgeting purposes, this is another really important piece of the puzzle. So when we did that asset management program, the first phase, now this, our 10-year roads plan, we're definitely building towards as a community, planning for our future. So definitely excellent job on this first kind of kick at the can as far as fleet management is concerned. And I think council members have brought very important information for data seeking in the future for staff and administration to consider. So thank you very much. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley, be resolved that report number 2023 Corp 006 entitled 10-year fleet management replacement plan be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.5, proposed air quality monitoring pilot. Sorry, it was supposed to be Mr. Springer, but it is Alan Smith, CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through to members of the council. So wildfires are becoming more prevalent, with climate change playing an increasingly important role in this. This is impacting health. To help determine the local health impacts of such events, the Temiskaming Health Unit is offering municipalities in the area to participate in a pilot program for the installing of what we call purple air monitors or sensors. The THU is partnering with the Meteorological Services of Canada, which is part of Environmental and Climate Change Canada, using these purple air monitors, which can be used to assess local air quality data. These monitors measure particulate matter, which is the pollutant associated with forest fire smoke events. The appropriate sensors will be provided free of charge, with the only cost really being the installation, which will be mostly staff time. We are currently looking to place the sensor on the roof of Town Hall. Now, this is our preliminary investigation to indicate this probably would work. If for some reason there's difficulty using this location, TPR is not a location that could be considered. We need to inform the THU by August 18th that we are participating in this pilot. It should be noted that participation in the pilot may enhance our chances, if council desires, of becoming a location for installation of a traditional national air pollution surveillance air quality monitoring station within the THU catchment area, as the THU has made a request to the Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks for the installation of such a station, as the recent smoke from Quebec, Ontario, and Western Canada wildfires has identified a significant gap in monitoring stations in Northern Ontario. So I welcome any questions.
Any questions regarding this matter from council? None noted. Madam Clerk?
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be resolved that report number 2023 PW003 entitled Proposed Air Quality Monitoring Pilot be received, and finally, that council authorize the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake to participate in the Purple Air Pilot Project offered by the Timiskaming Health today.
All in favor? Opposed? None voted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.6, Connecting Link 2023-24 Design Tender Award. Mr. Alan Smith, CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through to members of the council. As council is aware, the town of Kirkland Lake has been successful in securing funds from the MTO Connecting Link program in 23 and 24, totaling $934,880 to help reconstruct part of Highway 66 from Burnside Drive intersection up to the eastern limit of the town. The 2-year project consists of awarding a contract for the design of the project in year 1, followed by a second contract in year 2 for the construction of this said project. The report for council this evening speaks to the former. An RFP process was initiated and we received 4 bids. The evaluation resulted in Concept Dash Inc. as the successful proponent. Administration recommends the awarding of the contract for engineering and project management services in year 1 of the project. It should be noted that it is the intention of staff to issue the RFP for the second part of the project early next year. Welcome any questions.
Councillor Owens?
I think it's great that we're finally moving forward on this one. It's been hearing about it for a long time now. My only concern is, and I spoke with Mayor about this, is the location of the crosswalk. I think the eastern side of Burnside might lead to some people getting the daylight scared out of them when cars are going eastbound, rounding that corner and start to accelerate when you hit the 4 lanes, and all of a sudden the lights are flashing. It might be somewhat of a problem. I don't know if we can still modify this where the crosswalk would be on the west side of that intersection, where at least cars coming from both directions can possibly see it. Or this might come out, because I noticed at one point in there, it's still that's pending ministry approval. So if the Ministry of Transportation has better suggestions.
Yes, through you, Madam.
And I know you can't answer the question because you're in.
Yeah, it's unfortunately our director of public works is on leave right now, and also the manager of operations is ill. I will bring this to their attention, okay, but this is the engineering phase, so I would presume that the designs can be altered, but I will have to reach out to the director upon his return and bring him up to speed on the constituents concern.
Sorry, Madam Clerk had a point regarding process.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to all the council, it's possible through the engineering and project management phase that there will be public consultation.
Yeah.
So this is something that the Director of Public Works may be able to bring to light or ask members of council to participate in public meeting to provide their comment or their concern.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, for your notes on procedure. Councillor Ranger.
As a resident that lives in that area, I want to bring forward my concern about speed, and that if there's any possibility of the speed being reduced in that section, unless it's not in our control because it is part of the highway, that is for students, for employees, students who live in Federal walking, that sort of thing. It's we're also seeing a pattern of people walking on the non sidewalk side, which is also causing danger, and it's only a matter of time before there's a serious incident. So those would be my concerns.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Owen?
Yes, as I remember, we were going to put a sidewalk in.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Word of the contract.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So
No,
we're
that's
getting
fine.
more into the public
Yeah, never
consultation,
mind,
sorry.
never mind.
Yeah, so, actually what we're only deciding on is the awarding of
Yeah,
the tender this evening. So anything towards the actual tender awarding this evening? Nothing noted. I will have the reading of the motion, Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens, be it resolved that report number 2023 PW 006 entitled Connecting Links 2023-2024 Design Tender Award be received, and that council hereby award contract Concept Gas Inc. for the provision of engineering and project management as outlined in the scope of work as presented in the amount of $91,550 plus HST, and that the sum of $91,550 plus HST be allocated from the approved 2023 capital budget, and finally that an execution by law be brought forward for 3 readings on August 15th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.7, request for a fire hydrant, 50 Goodfish Road, Alan Smith, CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. So AA Bro Construction Limited has requested that the town install a fire hydrant at 50 Goodfish. The construction of the new building is currently on hold since the adequate water supply requirements have not yet been met in the design phase. And there are other outstanding building permit requirements that also have not been addressed yet by the property owner. Should be stressed that building codes and fire codes must be met, as there are no actual requirements under this plan. When the existing property owner, and in this situation, desires to extend or upsize a water service, they are expected to present a full design of the intended project to the town, indicating the suggested connection location to the water system. The town would then review the project to ensure the water distribution system can handle the additional demand and the cost of the design construction of the project to be absorbed by the property owner. Currently, the owner has requested the town to fully fund this by the vendor, including both design and construction costs. However, the responsibility to investigate, design, and construct this work lies with the existing property owner. In order to assist AA Bro Construction Limited, the town has identified 2 promising locations where water can be obtained. One is they can opt to replace the existing smaller service line at the corner of Hill Crescent, Tweedsmore, just north of the O&R tracks. Or 2, alternatively, they can extend the current water main from the corner of Duncan Abbey North and Goodfish Road North across the railway tracks, reaching 50 Goodfish Road. Furthermore, to deepen their understanding of the situation and these 2 options, staff have enlisted the expertise of an engineering company to provide insights into flow rates for the designated areas. These insights are to be documented in the working water model report that will be given to AA Bro Construction Limited's design team. The working water model report portrays water behaviors in the area, provides insights into design-related considerations regarding fire risk and safety. We expect to have this report within the next 2 weeks. It must be stressed that there are other alternatives that the property owner could be considered to ensure the new building has an adequate water supply. For example, a standalone system reservoir or creating a pond to hold water, just to name 2. As mentioned though, the request the property owner has is to connect a hydrant to the town's water distribution system. And the existing owner is responsible for covering the cost of extending the water distribution system to their property. As mentioned, there are a couple of options of extending water system. Trying to determine the definitive costs is difficult, given we have not received the engineering data from the property owner. And we are waiting on the working water model report. The estimated cost to extend the existing water main from Duncan Abbey North to 50 Goodfish Road does seem like a more expensive option. based on the information the staff has. Should AA Borough Construction Limited choose to connect to the town's water system and extend the water main to the property to meet the adequate water supply requirements as per Ontario Building Code, section 3.2, 5.7, all associated working costs are to be borne by the property owner. The town's role in this process is to ensure compliance with the applicable regulations and standards. Now, there was a question raised at the previous council meeting regarding the town's installing a fire hydrant at my hotel a few years ago. Yes, the town did install a fire hydrant, however, that was on town land. From what we can tell, the sale of the town property was for a fully serviced site. Originally, the thought was the fire hydrant at the Heritage North building would suffice. However, to cut a long story short, this is not the case, and the town had to install a fire hydrant. Again, this was our property. So by maintaining the current requirements of developers being responsible for all costs, the town maintains a fair and equitable system wherein property owners are accountable for the expenses associated with their individual project. Of course, council can decide otherwise given the circumstances of the day.
Thank you. Before I open the table for questions, Madam Clerk, can I have the reading of the motion that's before us today?
It'll be that report number 2023 PW 010 entitled Request for a Fire Hydrant 50 Goodfish Road be received, and find that the matter be deferred until the owner of 50 Goodfish Road, AA Borough Construction Limited, provides the chief building official with engineered drawings, including fire flow calculations.
Thank you for that. Understanding what is before us today, I will allow some leeway in our questioning this evening, with the caveat that, of course, we do not have experts sitting at this table at this time. However, the report itself is very technical in nature, and so there is a lot to kind of wrap our heads around. So it's important that all council members keep in the forefront of their mind what we are being asked to decide on today, as well as respect from staff that that was a very technical report. So we're going to ask some questions that may fall outside of our normal discussions at this table, but it is at my discretion when we will shut down conversation. So bring it back to the motion at hand. Okay, Councillor Owens.
Wait, I appreciate this. This is a difficult one to read. I've had to read it a few times to wrap my head around everything, and it's still stuff. I don't get it. I sent in a question in regards to this, because in my mind, garbage pickup, we don't have to do. Fire suppression is one of the things the municipal act says the municipality is responsible to do, right? Okay, so when I read this motion, the way it's written, putting it on the property owner having to supply engineering and flow calculations for a fire hydrant that anywhere else in the municipality we install. We do it, we dig, we put the pipes through up to the property line, up from the property line into the store, then you know what, that's on the property owner. But for us to bring the water to that property, if the municipal act tells us that we're responsible for it, I don't get how we can pass that cost on to the property owner. I'm not sure if you're in a position to respond to that, but that's where I'm having an issue here. It's not a private venture. We're streets. I can't tell the town of Kirkland Lake how to go dig up. Oh, wish I thought of that before. That's perfect. Anyway, I can't tell if I find my water line is not big enough, well, I can't tell the town of Kirkland Lake what to do on their side of the line. On my side, yeah, I have to bear the cost, but up to my property line, it's at the discretion of the waterworks foreman. That's where I'm boggled by this one. This one is.
My understanding that just being a consistent practice of having developers pay for services. That is being best my understanding,
Yeah.
right? And so in the case of Microtel, they were, I believe, having a dual service site, and one thing after another, we ended up having to put a hydrant on because we were selling the site service. My understanding that the rationale of the path has been having developers pay for the cost incurred, and that's so that's where we stand right now. But I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, okay.
Counselor Dykens?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to CEO Smith. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought you said they were rebuilding smaller. Like you keep saying developer, but is he not just rebuilding? And is he rebuilding bigger? I guess I went to listen to it on the recording, and of course the sound last time was not adequate. So that's just for clarity. That's all.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councilor Dykens, I believe he is building larger.
Okay.
I would ask maybe our building official to step forward and maybe confirm that.
Okay. So then that makes it a different situation if he
Yes.
was just rebuilding.
Yes,
Thank you.
maybe Courtney can enlighten us a little bit.
Okay, through you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Jim. So from our records, based on what he had before, it is bigger. However, it actually doesn't matter if it's bigger or not. Just the size of the building itself, it has that requirement to have the adequate water supply and the hydrant, so.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Courtney. So if he wouldn't have had a fire, would he have to put a fire hydrant in?
No, so basically, so whenever the building was constructed originally, it's considered to have complied with the code at the time, but because the building completely burned down, everything was torn up and it's not in the same spot. It's a completely new rebuild.
Okay.
Rebuild. That's why you need to go through each component now, and that's why you need to have the adequate water supply.
Okay. Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah, anything further from council? Counselor Owen?
Yeah, this is a very difficult and complicated situation, and one that council wants. I know all the councillors want to make sure that we try and get it right, and chances are somebody's not going to be happy. But I have a bone of contention here. On page 126, other alternatives. One, it says the option is not being considered because there is no development potential north of the O&R tracks. Therefore, the extension of the water system in that direction cannot be justified at town's cost. But right across the road from Bro's operation is a large industrial lot. So there is potential there for development. There was at one time a gold processing plant on that property. I can't remember the name of the company right offhand. And from what I understand, although I can't say that I looked up the records, my understanding is that property is owned by a local businessman in town. So to say that there's no potential, I think is a misstatement. And hopefully we will take our time and try to accommodate the expansion of business in Kirkland Lake at the same time, being fair to everyone. Thank you.
Anything further from council? Counselor Owen?
Just a quick follow-up, as for the size of the during conversation with the property owner, the store is somewhat smaller than the original size of the building. And just to follow up on Councillor Owens.
Yeah. Councillor Rick.
I agree that there is potential there, like, again, in conversation with that property owner, he building a warehouse further down the road on property he owns, which would generate more taxes. he needs to bring the water down that far, so that's now two properties that would benefit from it across the street, and there's other potential, like we can't go south, we can't go west, we're landlocked except for those two huge townships we have in Curtin Lake. So to say that there's no possibility of extending that way, I think we're somewhere, something doesn't seem right. Exactly, I was gonna say, yeah, short-sighted or, yeah.
Anything further from council? So, okay, yeah, Councillor Kylie?
Was there not some consideration of running a line up hillside, up the back way?
Oh, Christ.
Used by mayor to every council. That was something I would have to check with our public works director on, to be honest with you. That may be considered. I would have to check unless our director of development services can add some light to that.
Is that the line coming up behind the church? Yeah, that's considered in that.
Yeah.
That would be the preference.
Yeah.
If we were to do it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So bringing it back to the motion at hand.
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
Oh, Councillor Dykens?
To you, to CEO Smith. If the owner, from this report, it seems like he's bent on having a fire hydrant, but if he were to choose to replace the existing water service line at Corner Hill, Preston, Tweedsmuir, he would still be responsible for those costs, but would he have to supply the engineering report still to the town with the water flow? Yeah, okay,
I believe so. Sorry. You got to do it. Yes.
okay, thank you.
So is there any further questions from council regarding the motion that is before us? To defer, sorry, Madam Clerk, I'll get you to read again.
Sure. I'll read the second part because the
Yeah.
first part is just to receive. And finally, that the matter be deferred until the owner of 50 Goodfish Road, AA Borough Construction Limited, provides a chief building official with engineered drawings, including fire flow calculations.
Councillor Owens?
This is where I have a problem.
Yeah.
I can't vote. I don't want to defer because I know that there's implications for the process of the rebuilding of that store. And I don't want to defer because I don't think it's right that this is the onus should not be on the property owner. We are the municipality, unless there's something else I'm missing somewhere in the municipal act. Fire trucks are our responsibility. We pay a lot of money for them, and my house catches fire, I expect that fire hydrant at the corner of my house to work. And it's not up to me to make sure that it works, it's up to whoever, Public Works, I guess, or water services to make sure that there's water that's gonna come out of it when the fire truck gets there to hook up to it.
Councillor Owen?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Councillor Owens on this. I'm not going to go into who should pay for what, except that I believe if the building code says he has to have a fire hydrant there. Now, assuming somebody pays for it, we all agree to it. It's up to the town to make sure that the water flow and the water pressure as required by the fire department is adequate. That should not be up to the business owner. That's not his line. That's not his fire hydrant. And as the building code stipulates he has to have it, we have to supply it if he's going to build. This is irrespective of who's paying for all the rest of the stuff. So I don't think it's fair to say he has to pay for flow tests and engineering on something the town will require. Sorry.
Madam Mayor.
Yep.
The building official will take a comment.
Please.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Owen. So I agree, like if the fire hydrant is there, then there would be some onus, but it's not the only option. So if it's decided that the fire hydrant goes there, then that's one thing, but I think everyone needs to know that it's not the only option for adequate fire or adequate water supply on the property. Just want to make sure everyone knows that.
This is a clarity question.
Councillor Dickens?
Madam Mayor, to Peter Scales, pardon me, sorry. Again, if the owner chooses a different option, is he required to provide the engineered drawings, including the fire flow calculations for all options? So say he wants a pond or reservoir or hook up to the Hillcrest, that's what I'm trying to.
We're going to have fire chiefs
Madam Mayor,
to this issue.
Yes, he's still required, no matter what option is chosen, he has to provide the engineering water flow calculation.
Because he's a developer.
Because of the size of the structure, I need to know how much water I have to have on hand to suppress a fire at this site.
Okay.
So regardless of what option is chosen, he still has to provide that data.
Councillor Ranger?
So I just need I need some clarification. If somebody were to build in the industrial park where they have fire hydrants at each one of those properties, would the developer still have to produce to you, based on their drawings, how much water they would need? To connect from that fire hydrant to their actual building? Are we treating it the same way?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes,
Okay.
exactly. Regardless of where the structure is built, that information needs to be provided.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Owen?
Through you, Your Worship, but I believe the difference here is that the town put it in, the town already knows what those flows and pressures are. And therefore, the person building in the industrial park wouldn't have to pay an engineer to figure it all out for them.
Yeah, fire chief.
Sorry, through you, Madam Mayor. Regardless of where it is built, that information needs to be supplied.
Yeah.
And it's for the fact of if it's a 6-inch water main or a 16-inch water main. We need to know how much is required.
Sorry. Okay, Councillor Kylie?
Yeah, just going back in a bit of history here, and if I'm offline, cut me off. His original structure was built without the fire hydrant, right? Did the rules change in 2012? Is that correct?
For you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Kylie. So it's not possible for us to know if they changed at the time of permit issuance and the time that the thing was built. It was deemed to have complied with the code at that time.
I'm sorry, it was.
At the time of building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councillor Owens?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to, I guess, the fire chief. So in these flows, does it make a difference if the water supply through a hose connected to the fire hydrant at Duncan or in the ground? Like, I mean, if it's connected to a hydrant, we're gonna be connected to the system that's already there at the corner of Duncan and Goodfish, right? That's where the last fire hydrant is. So if that line runs underground or if it runs on surface, let's say there is another fire, is there a difference in flow from on surface versus underground?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, there is, because with his engineering report for his structure, would deem if he has to have a sprinkler system installed, which would be a suppression system in place prior to the arrival of the fire department.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
So the engineering thingamajig that you're asking for in this report with engineering drawings, is that for the design of blasting the street and running the line through? Or the engineering part of, hey, we need sprinkler systems in the ceiling and that, so that's what you want? Or that's what it's for?
Through you, Madam Mayor, it is for the structure itself.
Oh,
This is not for this is not for the roadway. This is the building property.
oh, holy geez, that makes a big difference.
So this is where we're getting lost.
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, can I just make a clarification? So it's not the municipal act that identifies a municipality to maintain and operate a fire department, just so everybody knows. It's the Fire Protection and Prevention Act. When you do that, you have to abide by the rules established by the Fire Protection and Prevention Act, which also dovetails into the code.
Thank you for that clarification. So that, sorry, just, yes. So I believe, I'm glad that I allowed for conversation to continue on this matter. Because I personally believe the report that we required was for the infrastructure for the community. And it is clearly not. It is for the building
That's correct.
Yes.
itself. So I believe that now that we have that clarification, we may be able to proceed differently in regards to this motion. So, Councillor Owen.
So is one of the options of not having a fire hydrant, the option of having an adequate water supply for a sprinkler system within the building? No?
Yeah.
You, ma'am. Yes, it is. So is adequate options would be a holding pond on site or a water tower on site. So he, through his engineering, he would have to provide how much water would be adequate for the structure to suppress the fire. So his option is hook up to a town source, provide a pond, or provide a water tower system.
Okay,
Any further questions from council?
I'm even more confused, but that's okay.
Just as a
Yeah, go ahead.
through you, Madam Mayor, so what we'd be voting on right now is on his part, sprinkler. In regards to the building itself, nothing on how to get the water there, we're just voting on the building itself.
Madam Mayor, through you to all of council, the recommendation is to defer the matter.
Until that.
Did we get there?
Well, yeah, but that's what we're waiting for, we're waiting for an engineer for the building, not for our part, for the building itself.
That's correct.
That's what we're voting on.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense.
Okay. Anything further from members of council? Madam Mayor, please read the motion one last. Madam Mayor again. Madam Clerk. Please, yeah.
You do a fine job, Madam Mayor. You're stepping in.
Madam Clerk, I'll have the motion read one more time, please.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that report number 2023 PW 10 entitled Request for a Fire Hydrant 50 Goodfish Road be received. And finally, that the matter be deferred until the owner of 50 Goodfish Road, AA Road Construction Limited, provides the chief building official with engineered drawings, including fire flow calculations.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you both. Item number 6.8, fire dispatch services for the town of Kirkland Lake. I'll have Earl Gray, Director of Emergency Services, Fire Chief, present.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I'm sure everybody had a chance to read over the document of the proposed service. With changing over the down to live dispatching services. Any questions?
Councilor Kylie.
Yeah, through you, your worship, the cost that's been quoted here, what is the difference between what they're paying now and what they're charging tenants?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Currently, right now, we're paying approximately $4,800 a year. So it is a significant increase. The largest issue is the safety factor. It's really standard 911 service is starting to change, and North Bay TAC is on a forum. The dispatching services to meet the standard. So that's what really fueled this change.
Could they, would North Bay not be changing the same methods as Evans? I'm just curious.
Through you, Madam Mayor. No, unfortunately, because their main business is the ambulance service. So they don't fall under the same legislation. They're under the Healthcare Act. So to meet the Fire Act and NPA, they're not going to do that investment of upgrade of service.
Counselor Owens?
So just for clarification for you, Madam Mayor, so now when we call 911, OPP answer, they're the first ones to answer, right? I believe they're dispatch, but that's offered through
North Bay. Yeah.
North Bay, so is it?
Sorry, not crosstalk.
No, yeah. I don't, so right now, because I know if you call 911, someone answers, they say fire, police, or ambulance. So if you say police, you stay on the line. If you say fire, or ambulance, they transfer you to something else.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, so all that will stay the same.
Okay,
This is the secondary PSAP, which is the fire component. So instead of when you dial 911 and you say I need the fire department, so instead of them switching the call to North Bay ambulance communications, it'll just go to police services communications.
Timmins.
In Timmins.
Okay, so someone like will be physically talking to someone in Timmins instead of North Bay.
So when you dial 911, it doesn't get picked up in Kirkland Lake.
No, that I was aware
So it's wherever the 911 operator is,
Okay.
they automatically in the system hit the proper area.
Counselor Dykens?
To Madam Mayor, to Chief Greg. Again, for clarity, currently we pay 4,800 a year, did you say?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Currently, yes.
And we're looking to go to $40,920 a year,
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we are.
and that's for safety, so like what?
So, you, Madam Mayor, with the NPA standard for dispatching services, the operators have to be trained and qualified to operate as an emergency contact point for dispatching. Unfortunately, when we get a call currently with CAC service, they dispatch the fire department, tell us what the address is, and they hang up. We have no more communication with anybody besides the use of a cell phone. With Timmins service, it's complete 100% live dispatch. So it's just the key of the mic and we can talk to a live person. If we get to a call and it's, heaven forbid, a shooting, an active shooting, it's a lot easier to push the button and say we need more help than it is to take a phone out of your pocket and try to get in and call 911.
Just to answer your question, Counselor Dykens, it's going to 40,920.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, Counselor Ranger?
Just so that Councilor Bacon, through you, Madam Mayor, to council. It's sort of a new thing. It's gonna have to happen because we're not meeting the standard. So.
Counselor Owen?
Yes, to you, Madam Mayor, usually I'm the one saying, let's spend less money. But when it comes to safety of the officers, safety of the people involved in terms of the fire. I know, in my own family, there was a recent fire and my daughter was not happy with the way that 911 handled it, but I have to take that in context. She was in shock at the time. She was traumatized. I don't think they did anything wrong, but nonetheless, when it comes to safety of the public and safety of our professional and volunteer firefighters, I'm more than willing to, it's a drastic increase, but I'm more than willing to recommend we spend it.
Thank you for that. Anything further from council? Nothing noted, Madam Clerk?
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that report number 2023 FDS 003 entitled Fire Dispatch Services for the Town of Kirkland Lake be received. And that council approve the live fire dispatch services for the Town of Kirkland Lake from the Timmins Police Services Board for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. And that the mayor and municipal clerk be authorized to execute a service agreement with the Timmins Police Services Board for live fire dispatch services, and finding that an execution bylaw be brought forward for 3 readings on August 15th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? Nothing noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you, sir. Considering item number 7, considerations of notices of motion. There are none this evening. Pardon me. Item number 8.1, bylaw number 23-052.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to all the council, I just wanted to reiterate why this was coming back, because this has already been approved by council in the past. The registrar for the land registry office number 54, which is our region, had identified that the land description noted in bylaw 2051 was incomplete and must be changed to specifically state which parts on a reference plan of the subject road allowance that is being stopped up and closed. So this is just an administrative repeal. So I will read the motion, moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be resolved of the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2352 being a bylaw to stop up, close, and declare part 2 of Plan 54R 6325, Township of Tech, now Town of Kirkland Lake, District of Temiskaming, south of Lot 72, Plan M109 as surplus land.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item 8.2, bylaw number 23053.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2353 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of the sponsorship agreement with the Kirkland Lake Minor Hockey Association in order to accept grant funding from the Temiskaming Foundation.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 8.3, bylaw number 23-054.
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2354 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement with Concept Dash Inc. for engineering and project management services for the 2023-2024 Connecting Link project, Highway 66.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.4, bylaw number 23-055.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2355 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement with the Timmins Police Services Board for fire dispatch services in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 9, questions from council to staff. There were none for this meeting. Item number 10, notices of motion. Councillor Owens.
Okay, so, RFP feasibility study for preliminary design and cost estimates for a eventual new fire hall.
Thank you, sir. Any other announcements of notices of motion at the table? None noted. Thank you, councillors. Councillors' reports. Councillor Kiley.
Yeah, through your worship. I had the opportunity of sitting down with the director of DSAP recently to discuss security and well-being of tenants at 25 and 25A Tweedsmuir, and we tossed around some different ideas as to improve the service that they provide. It was an interesting session and what challenges that they have, but I'm confident that things will improve. Thank you.
Excellent. Did, at the time, were you made aware that NASDA is going to be speaking at email regarding issues? Excellent, excellent. Councillor Owens?
Thanks. Through you, Madam Mayor, on July 25th, Councillor Kiley, myself, and Madam Mayor attended a ceremony where Advocates for Northern Animals received a $100,000 donation to go towards their operations. Anonymous donation, no names were mentioned. Just as a guide, I guess, that $100,000 stays locally, and they've supplied us with some costs, what it costs to operate this this type of service in our community. And just the vet bill itself for 2021 was almost $70,000. So $100,000 seems like a lot of money, but it will be spent rather quickly. And most of that is towards that operation. So it was a very generous donation for locally.
Anything further from council members? Nothing noted. Normally I use this time to kind of list off all the events and meetings and celebrations the office of the mayor has the duty and the honor of attending. And I do this to ensure that the community knows the work being done on their behalf. However, considering certain issues that have bubbled to the surface since we last met on July 11th, I'm just going to address a few things. First, I want to take this moment to sincerely thank the Kirkland Lake staff. Working in public service is not easy. You operate consistently under the constant microscope and often are at the receiving end of more criticisms than kudos. Though we may not get everything right. Like you.
Sorry.
Okay. Being in the office every day, I see our people that are trying to build this community up the best way they can with the tools they're given. Not everyone can say their job is to literally build a town. And I hope each staff member feels the deep sense of pride about the work they do for our community. As town employees, you are literal ambassadors every day for our fine community. And I know we have some incredible staff, and you do not get the recognition that you deserve. So I do want to thank each member of staff, not only the ones that are sitting with us today, but everyone that does the work every day. I just appreciate what they do in continuing to build our community's future. So that was first. Second, I want to address the recent and sudden loss of 6 members of our community over the last year. This has sparked a media tidal wave and interest from literally across the country. My personal and sincere condolences go out to all the family and friends of these individuals that were taken far too soon. I've been asked repeatedly if I fear the perception of our community will be negatively affected. And I believe Kirkland Lake is more than the sum of our darkest days. I believe that what will endure is the amount of compassion we show in the great times of loss. In a community the size of Kirkland Lake, when one of us are hurting, we all do in some way. During this time, I've seen shining examples of what it means to be a Kirkland Laker. From online condolences, pledges from volunteers who want to make a difference, to how many people commend the services of our emergency services. I witnessed firsthand the kindness and the greatness that lives within the soul of our community and defines who we are. I do not fear for Kirkland Lake. We're resilient. We face tragedy far too often in the last century to be anything less. These targeted acts of violence do not define us. How we treat each other moving forward will do that. The step we take towards healing will do that. And the compassion we show those who need it the most will ultimately always define who we are as a community. I do thank you for allowing me to take a few moments to address those issues. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens. Be it resolved that the verbal updates from members of council be received.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. For additional information, we do have one proclamation, which is fitting, for International Overdose Awareness Day, August 31st, 2023. Whereas the town of Kirkland Lake does affirm and acknowledge the harm and hardship caused by drug overdose. And whereas we recognize the purpose of International Overdose Awareness Day as remembering without stigma those who have died and acknowledge the people who went unseen and whose lives have been altered by overdose. And whereas we resolve to engage awareness in reducing the toll of overdose in our community, which claimed 14 lives during the last year in the Timiskaming Health Unit region. Thousands of other Ontarios, together with countless more, affected forever. And whereas we affirm that the people affected by overdose are our children, our parents, and siblings, who all deserve our love, our compassion, and support. And whereas the town of Kirkland Lake is grateful for the awareness made by the Timiskaming Drug and Alcohol Strategy in their commitment to our regional communities in drug prevention and fostering a culture of compassion, education, and support, which ultimately save lives and reduces the harms associated with drug misuse. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Stacy White, Mayor of the Town of Kirkland Lake, do hereby proclaim August 31st as International Overdose Awareness Day.
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dyken, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens, to resolve and council sanction the proclamation for National Overdose Awareness Day in the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. We'll now take a 10-minute recess. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to move into closed session. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dyken, seconded by Councillor Janice Granger, be it resolved that council adjourn in camera at 6:14 p.m. for the pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, labor relations or employee negotiations, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local boards, the fights that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, a matter in respect of which the council, board, committee, or other body may hold a closed meeting under any other act, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instructions to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board for the following reasons. Item 13.1, lease agreement, municipal parking lot on Water Lane. Item 13.2, request to purchase 79 Main Street. Item 13.3, encroachment agreement, part mining plan 2644, parcel 7149 CST. Item 13.4, collective bargaining, QP local 1074. Item 13.5, supplemental update, KL Solar Inc. And item 13.6, supplemental committee of council appointment, KL EDC.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Okay, we'll now rise. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dyken, be it resolved. Be it resolved, the council reconvene in open session at 6:56 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Any declarations of pecuniary from closed sessions? There was two. I, Stacy White, am declaring direct, deemed and or indirect pecuniary interest on the agenda item, on the agenda of meeting dated August 15th, 2023, open meeting item 14.1, request to enter into a lease agreement with 50 Government Road West. It is deemed the matter may affect my parent, my spouse, or my child. The nature of my interest is as follows, though no financial interest. My husband is employed by this company, so it's best that I step away. And I, Stacy White, am declaring direct, deemed, and or indirect pecuniary interest on the agenda of the meeting dated August 15th, 2023 in open meeting. Agenda item number 14.4, agenda title collective bargaining QP 1074. It is deemed the matter may affect my parent, my spouse, or my child. The nature of my interest is as follows. My daughter is currently employed at TPR. Thank you very much. Matters from closed session.
So at this time,
So at this time, I will have acting Mayor Owen take the chair.
14.1, request to enter into a lease agreement with 50 Government Road West Limited.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there any further discussion? Or with the recommendation? Roll call vote on?
Yeah. Moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Patrick Kiley, be it resolved that report number 2023 DEV 29 entitled Request to Enter into a Lease Agreement with 50 Government Road West Limited be received. And that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute a lease agreement with 50 Government Road West Limited for 25 parking spaces within the municipal parking lot on Water Lane. And finally, that an execution bylaw be brought forward for 3 readings on September 5th, 2023.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Passed.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Owen. Item number 14.2, request to purchase 7 and 9 Main Street.
Moved by Counselor Janice Ranger, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen, be it resolved that report number 23 DEV 30 entitled Request to Purchase 7 and 9 Main Street be received. That council approve the sale of lands at 7 and 9 Main Street in the sum of $16,000. That council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the offered purchase and all appropriate sale documents as may be required. And finally, that council authorize the bylaw of the sale of property be given 3 readings at an upcoming meeting.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried. Item number 14.3, request to enter into an encroachment agreement on part mining claim 2644, parcel 7149 CST.
Moved by Counselor Janice Ranger, seconded by Counselor Rick Owen, be it resolved that report number 2023 DEV 33 entitled Request to Enter into an Encroachment Agreement on Part 1 and Claim 2644, parcel 7149 CST Newton be received. And that council authorized the mayor and municipal clerk to execute an encroachment agreement with Reginald Newton to park on town-owned lot within the Stratford leasehold area legally described as on Part Mining Claim 2644, parcel 7149 CST. And finally, that an execution by law be brought forward for 3 readings on September 5th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. At this time, I will again ask Acting Mayor Owen to take the chair.
And
Item 14.4, collective bargaining, QP local 1074.
okay, I'll ask council to take. Oh, okay. Do we have any discussion on this item? Then I'll call the vote.
Okay, moved by Counselor Patrick Kiley, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens, be it resolved that report number 2023 HR 003 entitled Collective Bargaining QP Local 1074 be received. And that council approved the memorandum of settlement between the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake and Canadian Union of Public Employees QP Local 1074 as presented. And that council authorized the mayor and municipal clerk to ratify the collective agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake and QP Local 1074, covering the period of September 1st, 2022 to August 31st, 2024. And finally, that an execution bylaw be brought forward for 3 readings at a future meeting.
Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Owen. Item number 14.5, supplemental public appointments to committees.
Moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Dolly Dykens, be it resolved that the following individual be appointed to the Kirkland Lake Economic Development Committee for the year 2023 in this term of council. Brian Ronson.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Confirmation bylaw.
Moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Dolly Dykens, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read and numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. File number 2356 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council at its meeting held Tuesday, August 15th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous.
Moved by Counselor Dolly Dykens, seconded by Counselor Janice Winkler, be it resolved in this regular meeting of council be now adjourned at 7:02 p.m.
Oh, pardon me.
Point of order. Was there not a direction given on,
13.
okay. Thanks for the clarification.
At 7:02 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous.